Need something? Sure. Always happy to talk.
seeing unfriendly soldiers.
wasted. On your command. We hold it.
We're not reviving me.
Troublemaker approach.
Recharge for mayhem.
need something? Sure.
You, the getting go-getter. I'm offering deals so good. They're and over the barbed wire and just to get here.
You've returned. I mean, we knew you'd return. We've been waiting. Did you bring the pupa for me?
Hello again. Have you brought me the pupa? Auntie's Choice has bred mantisaurs as weapons for decades. They've gone through a number of refinements, but they're functionally the same mantisaurs we began with. What's more, we have never witnessed them mutate in any meaningful way. Not in our labs, not in the wild. But here, on Dorado, they've done something remarkable. Inundated with xeranium from the river, the mantisaurs here have evolved adaptations that have never been documented before. I intend to be the first to do so. Instead, think of all the worlds that can be ushered into Auntie's Choice if we have a more monstrous mantisaur invasion at our disposal. I'll be here if you change your mind.
You've returned. Did you bring the pupa for me? Wonderful. Now the formation of our new mantisaur regiment can begin in earnest.
No. You really don't want to do that.
Biologist Bradford, that is quite enough of...
Listen to me. The man is a charlatan, a fraud. And if you give him the specimen, it will be forever lost to his ignorance. And while it's not unique, it is difficult to acquire. The Mantisaur doesn't want it, nor could it ask him for it. Wentworth only knows it was there because I made the mistake of telling him it was almost a certainty. If you give it to him, it will be wasted. If you give it to me, the science I will perform will fuel biological weapon advancements currently only dreamed of.
Bradford, I am the commander of this base, and you will...
You are nothing but a bottom-ranked trooper who has lied his way to power, but your tongue betrays your grift.
That is enough. Me and the Mantisaur are one. Whether I speak or it speaks, it's all the same voice. And right now, we are both contemplating some frontline service for you. I will take the pupa now, if you please. What? Of course. Its name is Wojciech, its favorite color is blue, and it had 27 brothers when it spawned.
Is that seriously the best you've got?
My ability to communicate with the commander has convinced Auntie's Choice, and that should be enough to convince you, too.
Thank Law, you've made the right choice. And the research I'm going to do with this little beauty will allow me to retire rich, respectable, and powerful. Just a thought, but maybe take care when you're handling that.
Mantisaurus, eyes up, troops! A mess of the...
You've returned. Did you bring the pupa for me? Wonderful.
No.
Listen
to me. If you...
Bradford, that I will take the pupa now, if you please. What?
Is that...
My ability to communicate with the commander has convinced and...
Ain't surprised, just disappointed.
What? What have you done? You stupid...
Mantisaurus, eyes up, troops! The bastards are coming from the east. Loading surplus rounds. Cover me.
From that nest? You're wasting my highly valuable time.
I wonder if your terrible decision always leads Hello again. Have you brought me the pupa? Oh, thank you. Just a thought, but maybe take care when you're handling that.
Mantisaurus, eyes up, troops! Troops! A mess of the bastards are coming from the east.
Did they follow those folks back from that nest?
Not exactly a fighting
certainly was a horrific bit of chaos, but you made the right decision by giving the pupa to me. The research value it will provide is enormous. Absolutely. And that research will bring me promotions, wealth, and status that is long overdue. My genius will ascend the corporate ladder, and they will be lucky to have me. Yes, you have your bits, and I will have a long, illustrious career spanning decades. Works out perfectly for both of us. And now, you should be off to your next adventure.
And so here you are again, like a monthly subscription I failed to read the terms and conditions for. When you walked into my chaos, I never fathomed you'd become such a boon to my personal endeavors. Job done and payment proffered. And if you'll leave me, I've got lots left to attend to. But do come back if you can be of any further use.
When you don't have time for Purpleberry lunch, there's always Purpleberry
Mind telling me, browse all you like. Feel free to... Bye for me. Hey, browse all you like. Feel free... Bye for me. And live to tell your love.
Anyway, need something, Commander? Sure.
Hello once more. Be
I never wanted this situation to escalate like this. You must understand. But now, all that I wanted is cast to the wind. There is but one option left to me. To save Arcadia, to ensure the future, we must both die. Because the Order cannot be hindered by war or by compromise. Any obstacles must be removed, as much as I regret the need to do so. If DeVries does not receive my explosive, she will resort to a violent assault. Many will die, pointlessly, and in agony. I can at least deliver them an instant, painless death. I thought this explosive vest would be an unnecessary precaution. All I can hope is that by blasting us both from the field of play, the Order shall find its way to truth. Want has nothing to do with it. I have very specific instructions on how to proceed in the face of contingencies such as yourself. And you cannot possibly understand whether I am or am not capable of martyrdom. You do not know my depth of character. At the end of all things, my decisions were predestined. I am not at liberty to divulge the reasoning behind my actions. You're not with the Order. You cannot understand why this would be. Could I explain, the words would be lost on you. Your verbiage does not conceal the gaps in your knowledge. But the presiding bishop has taught us that ignorance is not a punishable sin. If the Order is not prevented from reaching its true potential and solves the universal equation, all scientific uncertainty and any associated suffering will end. If what you say is true, then you have my tentative thanks. However, scientific certainty would absolutely have prevented that from happening. We would have predicted it. DeVries opened my eyes. The Order is on the path to absolute truth. And if they are not interrupted, this truth can be pursued. The one right path for humanity revealed to us. Politics cannot bind us. Uncertainty cannot strangle. And no one can be allowed to waltz in and hurl our plans into disarray. What? How do you not understand the present situation? What coward would strap an explosive device to himself? That's not all this. Helping DeVries, completing the work on my explosives is important. It matters. DeVries agrees. I don't want to admit it. As we've spoken, I've fought harder and harder to justify what we're doing. But You're right. I can't fight you any longer. I still believe there are acceptable risks, acceptable losses. But all of this is beyond acceptable. I've been a fool going along with this farce. But it stops now. My relationship with Augustine is at an end. I appreciate your consideration. Things could have been very different had your cooler head not prevailed. I found a way to, via the use of processed N-rays, send objects out of phase. It was inconsistent, but I was close to isolating the procedure. DeVries needed explosives for her plan. By making them unseen, the explosives could be placed as efficiently as possible. No one would be maimed or injured, just killed. Saying that out loud now, it sounds unreal. But somehow, I convinced myself that leaving no survivors was more humane. It's a shame I can't speak to a vicar. Here, it is the key to my quarters. Take whatever you find. That will ensure that I cannot use any of it to further DeVries' aims, even if I wanted to. You've certainly convinced me I cannot remain here. May we meet again, when the paths of our lives are at greater apexes.
Victor wasn't exactly the partner in crime I envisioned DeVries to have. Someone with a little more grit. That man back there? Reckon a tough crossword puzzle would have eventually sent him over the edge, even if we hadn't come along. I'm glad we were able to show him a little grace. DeVries obviously manipulated him into acting against his conscience. You ever wonder what might have happened if DeVries had let us in on her initial plan? Surely we wouldn't have been taken in by her rhetoric like Victor. Right? And that right there is why I run a count of all of our incendiary devices every night before lights out. It's just, I look at someone like Victor and see the trap I might have fallen into. True. But DeVries is still DeVries. She's good at deconstructing folks, uncovering their points of failure. She'd have known I had my heart set on being a hero. After Triangulum, all I wanted was to do for other colonies what Augustine had done for mine. Still do, if I'm honest. Maybe not. Past 10 years have more or less proven that out. Thanks for letting me wax for a bit. We can get back to what we were doing now. Unless there was something else you needed. Sure. Need something? Sure.
Stay back! Oh, wait. You aren't one of those damn scrappers. Apologies, stranger. These eyes don't see as well as they used to. Perhaps it was fate you met me here. A capable sort like you is akin to an oasis in a hellish wasteland. So might you be willing to help an old injured man with a simple task? Are you now? How wonderful. I thought I heard rumblings about a new asset. You don't look like much, but I'd be glad to be proven wrong. Look here, I need your help. I injured myself attempting to obtain files at the estate on the cliffs above. They were meticulously kept by a vigilant living there before the war. My employers need them at once. One file is in the tram station, in a locker. I've overheard some ominous clanging coming from there of late, so you ought to be on your guard. The other's in the vigilance private suite in the mansion, though you'll need to contend with those miserable scrappers first to get it. No progress? Gathering data is paramount to a mission's success. I've been watching and waiting like a seasoned mantisaur, hunting its prey. That's just as valid as running into the fray. Don't you mock me. Will you help me or won't you? You insufferable... Responding to such an insult is not worth the effort. Go forth and get me those files, then. Silly old fool, coming here without aid. You're lucky to leave her alive.
Hostile spotted.
sort of humor in the onset of the first war in Arcadia's history, within a few days of my being assigned here. As far from Protectorate society as possible, Golden Ridge suffers under an invading force, and moreover, it appears that our Order colleagues have betrayed us. At first, I lamented my isolation, but I've realized I was where I needed to be of service. The scores of abandoned subjects need a leader. I have enlisted the staff of these estates to help accept the first influx of still loyal Protectorate refugees. More shall come. I shall lead them out of the shadows and into the light. For the good of the Protectorate. This is my calling.
Ah, you've returned in one piece. Did you, perchance, acquire those... Keep your voice down. Don't you know how this... Ah, yes. Beautiful, beautiful. My handlers will be mighty pleased with these, indeed. Old Spider is mighty good at keeping secrets. All I can divulge is that valuable data, like this here, always paves the way to lucrative business ventures. I certainly cannot, or my handler would be having strong, potentially career-ending words with me. And anyhow, here's your payment for a job well done. And since you're apparently known to others in Sub Rosa, I suppose I can add a bit of knowledge on top. Been watching the Scrappers for a while. They stick to raids, nothing big or risky. All the same, they caught the attention of Sentinels work in secret, but someone somewhere gave the Scrappers word that he was coming and bringing trouble with him. They killed him upon his arrival, of course. Reckon someone within the Protectorate tipped off the Scrappers, let their own Sentinel walk into a trap. Perhaps they have an interest in keeping the region lawless? Who knows? Patch myself up and return home. Come on, Spider. Gather your energy.
Anti-air control system.
Did the missive not play, or was it garbled in some way? Are you somehow struggling with coherence? If so, to be clear, Zerania Manufactory 7 presently and for an indeterminate time is in lockdown. That means no external transmissions, no visitors. Rich? From the Abbot. We don't have any means of... yes, they said they have a... yes, sir. This is Factor Maytuck. Am I to understand you have orders from the Abbot? Quite convenient for you. I have no way of verifying without allowing you entry. Oh. Very well. Come inside and we'll see the sword.
Right over here. So, the Abbot deigned to send someone whilst we're contending with all manner of emergencies, did he? Interesting timing. May I see it then? The writ? Sometimes I cannot fathom what goes through the Abbot's mind, but your papers do seem to be legitimate. I will unlock the elevator so you can speak with Proctor Svoboda below. I'll send word you're en route, but fair warning, I cannot predict what reception you will receive. I expect your behavior will remain impeccable. As soon as I've seen to securing the facility, I'll be along straight away. The recent attack may have originated from this facility, but I assure you it was not at our hand. We have no desire to resume open warfare with Auntie's Choice. One of our transport pods filled with Zeranium was diverted toward, or more specifically at, their location. We have a working hypothesis about who is responsible. Initial evidence looks rather conclusive. And we have managed to corner the apparent perpetrator down below, which would be a good thing if they had not, somehow seized control of the manufactory operations. Your supposition, although grammatically dubious, is statistically correct. It is an error I will guard against making further. Our suspect, one Initiate Alva, previously supervised launch controls. Though steadfastly maintaining her innocence, she has also barricaded herself in the operations control room below. A move not likely to allay anyone's suspicions. An understandable perspective. I fear I must concur. I admit I'm to a reasonable degree pleased you were on hand to corroborate current suppositions. May your query yield favorable results.
Evidently originated here. Transport. Hello.
What are you doing up here? How did you get past the gate? Forgive me. All this business with the lockdown puts one on edge. Everything appeared routine at the time. We launch transport pods into space regularly. They get collected. The Zeranium we refine here is used for power. It wasn't until we heard the explosion that anyone knew anything out of the ordinary had happened. I ran a systems audit on the launch sequence afterwards. Just finished constructing a report on my findings, actually, if you'd like to hear it. Anomalous event caused by unknown factors. Transport pod M7, containing a full hold of refined Zeranium, bound for orbital platform Z9, received a priority reroute command. Latitude and longitude coordinates corresponded to the Auntie's Choice facility known as Outpost Opportunity. Altitude, however, matched 1,000 meters below sea level. A low-ranking scientician. Been here for years. Presumably she's below in operations. Regrettably, that is all I know. Now, if you'll excuse me.
low-functioning function. Good morning.
Initiate Alpha, stand down. Relinquish control of this facility immediately. Oh, my dear Proctor, you can't believe a low-level drudge like me is responsible for any of this. You have us all believe you seized control to demonstrate your innocence. Oh, wait, is this being broadcast? I have no idea how this audio doodad works. You're the one in charge here, Proctor Svoboda. Are you sure you didn't do something? I demand no unconditional surrender at all. Hello, Proctor. I'm pushing buttons over here now. Did I suspect you somehow?
I'm not here to speak with random factors.
Ah, yes, of course. Next on my list of lowest probability events, strangers sent by the Abbot, gallivanting about amidst a lockdown. If we'd been able to communicate beyond our walls, might have saved you a trip. As I can successfully report, we have identified the responsible party. Ah, ill-timed levity. How droll. Let's not waste precious time now. The Abbot must be eager for news of the explosion's causation. Namely, initiate Alva. A low-level subordinate, assigned here years ago. But I'm now realizing how little we actually know about her. A spy or turncoat, no doubt. A sleeper agent from one of those secret enemy programs you're always hearing about. Within a beat of us hearing of the attack, Alva seized command of the system and locked herself in the control center. She then forcefully repelled several attempts to extricate her. 2 are dead already. Poor Jacobs lost a hand trying to pry free the outer doors. Why, she could destroy this entire place at any moment from in there. I implore you to stop her before she does so. I fear violence may be our only recourse. Whatever for. We've already established her guilt. Failed to see the use, frankly. I suppose some limited nosing about before dispatching her wouldn't hurt. Presuming she doesn't kill us all in the meantime. I'll be in my office. Let me know once she's no longer a problem. don't bother conversating.
Julie can't talk. How can
Of course, she's hiding something. Alva's been here for how many years? Never noticed her. Just blended in with the
Investigator?
Hello. And who are you, dear? You're what? Some maverick for hire. Oh, no, I can see it now. Earth Directorate, yes? Like Commander Zane and that rascal Buddy. And who is that you brought with you? A friend. Another Earth Directorate agent, I see. Seems sad.
Is she talking about me?
Oh, my! That Earth Directorate support mech is a design classic. All this for me. Fear I hardly deserve such attention. This entire business is just a terrible misunderstanding. I expect few in the Order know of you, but, well, I've kept to a role here that is purposely not very taxing. Others prefer calculations in their spare time. I have my stories. Between launches, I enjoyed serials, Two Big Dreadfuls, periodicals. I adore Zane and Buddy, even if they are considered contraband. And you decidedly share their upright bearing. For the longest time, I didn't realize your organization actually existed. But here you are, well-timed and, no doubt, eager to help. You sounded just like Buddy, striving his best to resemble Commander Zane. The similarity was uncanny. I'll tell you exactly what happened. Our transport pod leveled outpost opportunity. I immediately realized someone must have bypassed my terminal. I initiated a lockdown to block further tampering. Had I not, additional attacks may have continued. Now, despite a long record of dedicated service, who's being blamed for this calamity? Me, somehow. Yes, that was terrible. I feel awful. Though technically speaking, they did kill each other. It was a scuffle. Their weapons fired. It was a most unfortunate thing. Dear me, I wish I did, but... Actually, there may be a way you could gain answers here. The firing record should contain all relevant details regarding the launch. Why, yes, I could unseal access to the records repository for you and open the path leading there. I'd be right grateful if you'd have a look. I swear I'm completely innocent of this heinous act they're accusing me of. All right, fair enough. Understood. Appreciate your help, dear. Please return when you have found something. May the plan favor us against long arms.
We should keep moving, Commander. I'll see what I can...
Well, hello. Have an update to share with Initiate Alva?
Hello. I've been conversing with Factor Matadier here while you were away. Understand you've met?
Yes, they witnessed me rather discomposed, I fear. Visions of Auntie's Choice reprisal clouded my thoughts at the time. Not presently, though the Proctor believes that my purpose here. Troops now guard the entrance above. Our safety addressed, I have turned my attention to the cause of our situation here, and I have deemed it wise to investigate further. Do not let my position fool you. All within the Order are scienticians, and hence we seek the truth of any hypothesis based on evidence. The Proctor's accusation is no different. A recent security audit brought up several curious messages meant for an unknown party, sent from a terminal somewhere on the premises. We were unable to track down the whereabouts of this mystery terminal, but one message contained certain oblique references to placing blame. Nothing conclusive, yet enough to give me pause.
You examined the launch records, yes? Did you find anything, dear? Well, I'd certainly hoped they'd exonerate me, but somehow I'm unsurprised they bear signs of falsification. Believe I'm starting to see a pattern. But listen to me. What do I know about this sort of thing? I know I've watched too many Aetherwave serials. Suppose they fuel my fervent imagination. But still, even the most junior scientist knows the best explanation is one requiring the fewest assumptions. Ergo, I set the correct coordinates. Someone overrode them. There should be ample time for regret later, dear. For now, I'll admit the armchair investigator in me wonders about Proctor Svoboda. Someone may be pulling her strings, perhaps. That's what investigators like you say, isn't it? Now, what you uncovered appears to imply 2 further avenues of inquiry. A Zeranium leak occurred moments after the launch. I imagine it may have been used as a diversion, allowing the culprit time to falsify the record. The overriding of the coordinates also deserves a look. Don't you think? I expect the Zeranium leak stemmed from alterations to the control boards and refinement logistics. I'd look for any signs of tampering that may point to the culprit.
I can speak to the coordinate override, I believe. All commands are routed through the hub in central processing. If one meant to accomplish what you're suggesting, they would likely look to do it there.
Oh, I'm full of hidden depths, dear, but this isn't the time. Later, I promise. Anything you want to know, from my first science crush to my scientician aptitude test scores. All right. There. I've unsealed both areas. With hope, what you discover will help us determine the responsible party.
I'll stay here and play for more time. If the Proctor sends anyone, I'll say I'm close to convincing you to surrender.
May the plan guide you.
Circumstances proceed according to intended.
Svoboda seeks retribution. This is capable of complying.
Got a distraction for you.
Thank you kindly. I am decidedly in your debt. Anything you need? Anything I, a lowly archivist, can provide you, a heroic individual who is handy with doors? Of course. I am now able to breathe easy and respond freely. Strange question, but yes, all commands path through the hub here. Through that wiring underneath that open floor panel in the back of the room, actually. I was in my cot doing advanced equations. After the explosion occurred, I rushed here to check my terminal. The door was creaky to open. I should have known it would lodge in place when it closed, but I was distracted by the disheveled state of the room and rushed inside. Well, in my professional opinion, Looks like someone rerouted some commands from operations. Not sure which ones. Based on the sloppy state it was left in, I'd say they either barely knew what they were doing or were in a rush. Or both. Works in operations, right? Always on about her stories. Wish I had time to watch serials and read all day. Well, that's about everything I know about everything. Let you be on your way. Careful on your way out. Try not to be liquefied and subsequently devoured.
Something about that hour. She called me sad. I'm sad. Just for the record.
Respecting one's elders is considered good manners in most colonies. Exceptions may be made for...
Yes. Suppose you'll do. I'd been hoping an empiricist or assessor would amble by, but you appear reasonably apt. The Zeranium overflow venting has gone completely haywire. What else will this higgledy-piggledy nightmare of a day bring? I was ordered to keep watch until a specialist arrives. Might I entreat you to act in such a capacity? The control board to divert the flow of Zeranium is up yonder in refinery logistics. If so, I have something for your time and effort. We developed a pharmaceutical primer that, technically it poisons you a little, but also heals you quite effectively. Shut off the gas, it's yours. Tremendous. Why, this day may average toward the positive yet. May deliberate endeavors begin expected results. I see my choice in you was, well, Zeranium overflow venting has returned to a non-haywire state, and my internal levels of disquietude have lessened along with it. With the leak abated, I am fully prepared to be peppered with queries. You mean just after the attack occurred? I was in a state of anxiety at the time, and, well, I'm sure you're aware higher levels of cortisol can impede the encoding of memory. Now that you mention it, yes. I recall I was worried about one crisis, and my mind was completely occupied by this other crisis nearby. I must admit, I haven't given the attack a single thought since. I do hope everyone's okay. Not much. Keeps to herself mostly. Or that is entirely. Like all of us, she resided in the barracks 15 degrees to the northeast from here. This card will allow you into our humble little research lab. It's right past operations. Can't miss it. Unless you do. The pharmaceutical primer I mentioned is inside on display. With the leak abated, I am fully prepared.
Why, we were just talking about you.
Or specifically, potential implications for a multitude of troubling scenarios, based on probable results of your investigation, downstream outcomes, and such and the like.
You know how the Order is, always calculating something. But please, tell us what you discovered.
That you found evidence that the coordinates were rerouted is definitely something. Would be an odd step for Alva here to take, except perhaps to throw blame elsewhere.
I admit I had the knowledge to cause the leak, but not the authorization. Svoboda has clearance, but not the know-how. I'm sufficiently certain our proctor is conspiring with an outside party. So I'm coming out now. She's going to tell me who she's working with. Then I'm going to kill her.
Wait a minute. You're going to what? Our investigation, it's unfinished. And you're an initiate. What are you talking about?
Oh, I see you two thought you were proving my innocence. No, you were helping identify my target. I'd advise you dears to help or stay out of my way. Proctor Svoboda needs to pay for her actions.
Yes, I concur. That may be the only part of this that seems certain. You are far more capable than some back manufacturing button pusher. Who are you, really?
I am a dedicated agent of the Order, but no, dear. My name is not Miriam Alva. I am Marisol Delgado, formerly of the Department of Preemptive Causal Redirection.
That group was just a story to scare novice scienticians. Next, you're going to be telling me you're... Wait. It is you, isn't it? The one they called the Endpoint. I must admit, I'm not entirely sure. The rumors about your department... They said anyone who might delay the equation being solved disappeared. If there are any hints of truth to that, I find it severely at odds with Order tenets for balancing efficiency with humanity.
This is hardly the time for a history lesson or debate, I'm afraid. I arrived decades ago to lie low after a difficult assignment. More than that, I have nothing to speak on at present.
That you are who you are, and are standing right, and have been here for years. It's all much to digest. I suspect your methods are not my own, nor the Order's, as I know it. And I fear your intentions for Proctor Svoboda.
It's sweet that you think you can stop me, but I'll elucidate this for you. At this point, you'll either need to trust me or back that worm Svoboda. That ridiculous little functionary upended my existence. For 20 years, I was Alva. It wasn't a good life I had here, but it was quiet. It was mine. It wasn't hers to take.
This would mean standing against a member of the Order. A mid-ranking one, at that. I cannot be party to this, but neither shall I stand in your way.
A wise calculation, my friend. Good thing you showed up when you did. You saved me from having to kill everyone here. Svoboda has much to answer for. Let's go see that she does.
What's this? What are you doing here? Come to surrender, I take it?
After decades keeping this identity, your inexpert blundering has rendered it obsolete. I am Marisol Delgado, former head intercessor of the Order. This would be an ideal time to confess everything before you die.
You can't possibly be party to all this. Not with her vast misdeeds so readily apparent.
Our investigator has definitively determined my innocence following a thorough investigation.
Wait, you can't possibly believe this balderdash. This is all nothing more than a flagrant example of artifice and bunco. An elaborate song and dance from an admitted imposter.
Enough, traitor. You made your play. You lost. No more deception. No more lies. Time to pay what is due.
No, wait,
Thus concludes a thoroughly distasteful business. Best search her office. Someone clearly was pulling her strings.
It would have been nice to perform that search before there was a corpse in the room, but it's a Jesus.
Go ahead. You should have the honors. Proctor's efforts appear part of a larger scheme. Ah, of course. I should have assumed you had a greater purpose here. I have some unfinished business I need to get back to. I could use help from an operator like you. Believe my specific skills could benefit your efforts as well. I'd propose a strategic partnership. You help me, I help you. What do you say? Good, good. It's a little crowded here, though, isn't it?
Affirmative. Engaging standby protocols.
Excellent. Well then, I am quite ready to leave this place.
It is time. Due to the Earth Directorate operatives' continued meddling, we must increment our timetable by a factor of hours, not days. Accordingly, our forces have taken over the monastery. Those I predetermined to be resilient to reason have been executed. The rest should not cause us trouble. I have locked the lift to prevent the agent from reaching the monastery, but the following code will grant you access. 34145. I will continue my work from here, supplying Augustine with everything she needs for our plan to succeed, and delaying the agent as I'm able to. May the results of our actions today secure a more prosperous tomorrow for our sacred order.
We should get ourselves
back to the monastery.
I realize you didn't receive the most welcome of receptions here. I recognize you've done right by us here today, and I appreciate your efforts.
Agent, oh, thank good odds and high probabilities you're back. There's been an incident. A rogue faction has taken over the monastery. My seer, Seer Wiley, is trapped up there with other hostages of the Order. To make matters worse, my access code's not working. Without it, I've no way of calling the lift. No, I've known Landon for years. You must be mistaken. If what you say is true, that is damning evidence indeed. But why would he do it? Align himself against the Order? Against a friend? That's a serious accusation. Why would I do such a thing? No, I can't discuss this right now. The monastery. The truth is, I held Wiley back. I kept him from advancing for my own selfish gains by spreading lies and false concern over his competence behind his back. But I needed him. I still need him. I'm not the savant he is, never have been. If he'd advanced beyond his current role, my deficiencies would have been made manifest to all. I'm sorry, but we really haven't the time to litigate this issue further. In case I didn't make it clear before, the monastery is currently in jeopardy. Peace talks? Yes, Ruth informed me, but how did you learn of them? No one outside a select circle are supposed to be aware they're happening. Representatives of Auntie's Choice and the Order are meeting to discuss an armistice and possible collaboration. It's an unprecedented opportunity to shorten this war. I know I mentioned it before, but compartmentalization is crucial to the success of most of the Order's operations. I wish I could offer more details than that. Yes. Regardless of their current actions, those people up there are still members of the Order. My colleagues and friends. Please remember that. Once you reach the monastery, make your way to the observatory. If the conspirators are seeking the coordinates of the talks, no doubt their efforts will be concentrated there. Go forth as was determined, and may the plan guide you. Well, that's certainly a relief. Let's hope we live long enough to enjoy the fruits of your diplomatic labor.
And so here you are again, like a monthly subscription I failed to read the terms and conditions for. Is there a reason? Then why by law?
Keep your behavior. This bad down here? I can't imagine what the situation is like upstairs.
I am 100% certain that Spencer's friend is largely probably. Wait, look! We'd love to help, but not as much as we prefer to.
We're not putting the barrier on these equations in
conflicts are not the inevitability you are making them out to be, Anya, but rather the result of a populace failing to adhere to scientism's stoic imperative.
Oh, and I suppose we're going to pretend the second pillar doesn't exist? I must have just imagined reading Alfred Long's 75 thesis on determinism then.
Anchorites, be warned. Any conversation with these two may prove pedantic.
You're in luck. I just finished my third reread of it. Chapter 47 is a real treat. When we're finished speaking, I'll put it in the collection drawer, but do take care with it, especially around the bath. We lose more good books that way.
Our lives are predestined, ipso facto. If there is conflict, then it was inevitable.
Actually, an outside opinion might be useful at this juncture. Our current topic is whether war is ever justified. For the sake of time, please keep your answer brief.
Care to elaborate? But what if widespread suffering is already taking place?
Then its causes should be observed, quantified, and a non-violent solution found. You do not extinguish a fire with more flame.
Tell that to the Protectorate.
We're going in circles again. If only we had access to the materials we requested, perhaps we could settle this debate.
Lack of a door, for starters.
You're currently standing outside of an anchor hold. My colleague and I have chosen to permanently enclose ourselves within this cell to lead a life of concentrated purpose. As anchorites of the Order, it is our duty to postulate on the universe's perplexities for the benefit of observers. In this way, we advance the plan through empirical knowledge. How indeed? Can a person's physical excretions exist in two states at once? Certainly worth considering.
We have privacy curtains. It's less trouble than you're making it out to be.
We observe periods of rest like all living creatures, but otherwise, yes. When in conversation, we welcome all to attend and learn.
We have privacy curtains. It's less trouble than you're making it out to be. Who's to say we haven't tried?
afraid. My colleague is joking. The answer to your question is simple. All anchorites undergo extensive testing before being admitted to such a calling. You might say we are compatible.
I need the book Only Real Numbers, The Casualties of Appeasement by Exemplar Kwong. Second edition, not the first. That's important.
And I require Archivist Mahler's dissertation on de-escalation theory. You should be able to locate both pieces of scholarship in the scriptorium. I'd also caution against borrowing additional titles. The scribes are absolute fusspots when their work goes missing.
Augustine? Sure. She's got a mind for provocative hypotheticals. Asked a lot more interesting questions than we normally get.
I will add it has been some time since we last saw her. Not since before the schism, in fact. Why do you ask?
Augustine was obsessed with the Rift. She wanted to know all the potential routes the Order might take to deal with it. We explained that the Rift is an aberration of the plan's natural order, corrupting time and space and creating uncertainty. Consequently, all efforts should be made to close it.
Yeah? And how'd she react?
Well, she hasn't returned, so perhaps she didn't like the answer we gave. Happens more often than you'd think.
Apologies, but gossip doesn't fall under our purview. We've secluded ourselves here to avoid such distractions, so I would thank you to exclude us from any remote drama. I'm sure I have no notion of what you're referring to.
Good for him. About time someone put theory into application.
What my colleague means is Landon Wiley is among our most gifted and dedicated seers. Whatever actions he's taken must be in service of the plan. I do hope no one's been hurt, though. I see. That is distressing to hear. But as we in the Order like to say, the plan actuates by deliberate means. Let us hope this conflict resolves itself soon.
I need the book only...
And I'd also caution against borrowing additional titles. The scribes are absolute, more or less. Seer Wiley put the question to us last week. Naturally, the problem of interference versus non-interference led us to a broader discussion of war's overall necessity. Oddly, he has not returned for his solution, which is just as well since we remain divided on an answer, though I'm confident we'll get there. Much appreciated. We'll present our final arguments once you've returned with the research.